Grief. It's a word we usually reserve for death. When someone passes away, we understand that grief follows. People send meals, they bring flowers, they check in. But what happens when your loss doesn't have a funeral? What happens when you're grieving something that no one else can see? Because grief isn't just about death. It's the emotional response to loss. And loss wears 1,000 different faces. You can grieve a relationship that ended, even though the person is still alive. You can grieve a friendship that slowly drifted apart. You can grieve your health after illness changes your life. You can grieve your childhood if you never got to experience the safety and love you deserved. You can grieve a career that never happened or a dream that never came true. A version of yourself that existed before trauma, because even healing comes with grief. Because every time we grow, we leave that old version of ourselves behind. One of the biggest forms of grief that I have had to work through in my own life is the grief of potential. I've always seen the best in people, sometimes almost immediately. I could see who they would become if they chose to heal, grow, and face themselves. And for a long time, I thought that was one of my greatest strengths. But eventually I realized something painful. You can't build a relationship with someone's potential. You can only build one with the choices they're making today. Every time I've had to let someone go, I wasn't just grieving who they were. I was grieving the potential of who they could be, the conversation we would never have, and the healing that I hoped that they would choose. The relationship I believed we could have one day. And I've had to take responsibility for something very difficult. Not because it was my fault, but because it was my pattern. I expected people to become the versions of themselves that I could see, instead of accepting the version they were choosing to be. That realization hurt, but it also set me free. Because grief isn't about pretending that something didn't matter. It's about acknowledging that it did. People often see grief as something that we need to get over, but I don't see it that way. I think grief is something that we learn to carry differently. And you've probably heard of the 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. But those aren't 5 neat steps you can climb at one time. They're experiences. You may move through them over and over again. You may find acceptance one day, and then anger the next. That's not a failure. That is being human. And one of the biggest mistakes we make is trying to rush grief. We distract ourselves, we bury ourselves in work, and we tell ourselves to just move on. But grief has a way of waiting patiently until we're finally willing to feel it. And the beautiful thing about grief is, when we allow ourselves to move through it, it changes us, it softens us, and it shows us what mattered. It reminds us of what we loved, and eventually, it makes room for something new. Maybe today, you're grieving someone. Maybe you're grieving a relationship. Maybe you're grieving your health, your childhood, a dream, or even the person you thought you would become. But whatever you're grieving, know this: grief is not weakness. Grief is love, trying to find a new place to live after loss. So, if you've been feeling stuck, maybe you're not stuck. Maybe you're just grieving. And maybe today, you can give yourself permission to do exactly that. I'd love to hear from you now. What's something that you've had to grieve that no one else could see? It doesn't have to be death. Maybe it was a dream. Maybe it was your health. Maybe it was a version of yourself that you've never become. Whatever it is, if you're comfortable sharing, I'd love to hear your story. Comment below, and if you feel more comfortable sharing privately, email me at embodiedspiritualwellness@gmail.com or at the Introverted Coach on Telegram. And don't forget, I love you all. Stay golden, stay gentle, stay true, and most importantly, grieve it out, brothers and sisters, so that you can stay you.